Welcome to the Dental 18 podcast. We're your hosts, Kiera Dent
and Dr. Mark Costas.
Mark and I had this crazy idea that maybe we could combine a dentist and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. And Dental 18 podcast was created.
I'm a practicing dentist, a multiple practice owner, a dental performance coach, and the founder of the Dental Success Institute.
I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, current practice owner, and international dental consultant. Mark and I don't just understand you, we are you.
Our goal is to positively impact the world of dentistry by sharing our lessons learned from the road in hundreds of dental offices.
Two perspectives, one mission, to help dental professionals reach their full potential. Welcome to the Dental 18 podcast. All right, Dental 18 listeners, it is Kiera Dent today, and we are having Mark Costas join us. Always our favorite episodes when Mark is on. How are you today, Mark?
I'm great. Kiera, how are you today?
Good. I keep wanting to just do like a dentalpreneur like spoof. So maybe on the next podcast, we'll do that because I just want to pretend to be Mark Costas on one of these just one time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Dentalpreneur podcast. How about that? There you go.
I was just waiting for it. Oh, man. Well, team members, let's dive right in today. Today is going to be our tactical 10 minutes with Mark. So I wanted to go over scheduling magic sauce of how to get people into your schedule for recare, reactivation, and unscheduled treatment plans. I'm not just saying this because you're my buddy, Kiera, but I got to tell you guys out there, you have got to come to one of her live events on scheduling or pay very, very close attention in this 10-minute episode because she is a master of scheduling. She comes into my offices and she teaches my schedulers how to schedule, and it makes a tangible difference every time she comes in. So listen up, guys. This is going to be some magic. Well, thanks, Mark. That's a huge compliment. And it's funny because for those of you, as you listen to this, you'll learn mine and Mark's journey. But Mark literally just saw me consult like truly in person the first time, probably like just a couple weeks ago. So I appreciate the compliment. These things do work whether you see us or not. And we do have a full scheduling course from one of our events online. So if you want more, you can always dive into it. But I want to give you like this verbiage works so well. I used to hate with all my heart trying to fill the darn hygiene schedule. That was, team members, you can probably relate with me. You work so hard, you fill that schedule, and then lo and behold, Mrs. Jones calls me back and she's my 8 a.m. tomorrow and it's 5 p.m. tonight and she is conveniently not coming in at 8 a.m.
Why is Mrs. Jones so damn flaky? Mrs. Jones is flaky in my offices too. What the hell, Mrs. Jones?
Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones. We're going to make a song one day for you guys about Mrs. Jones. We're going to do it. But so some verbiage that I wanted to share with you today, and Mark, please chime in at any time. But the scheduling magic sauce verbiage is when they're calling to cancel. Mark does a great job of this. Mark, tell us your 3 E's because this will tie into how we talk about getting those cancellations to not cancel on us. What are your 3 E's when it comes to phone calls? Yeah,
phone calls or life in general. The 3 E's. I lean on this all the time when we're talking about rapport building, but especially important on incoming telephone calls. Because what was the percentage, Kiera? 7% of communication is the words. 50-something% is 38% is tone, and the rest is body language or something like that. So the words are so much less important. Actually, what you say is so much less important than the tone, right? So the 3 E's are energy, empathy, and edification. So in rapport building, especially on the telephone, because you don't have the benefit of communicating non-verbally, because you're on the phone, right? So tone and then the words. So tone is most important. That energy that you bring to a conversation is so, so important. Like we want to see your teeth when you're talking. Because I'm like right now, you and I are Zooming, Kiera. When I speak and I am showing my teeth, it's a totally different energy level, right?
It is. It really is.
And then empathy is the second E. That is making sure that we are empathetic. If people are in pain, we're empathetic. If people don't have a lot of time in their schedule, we're empathetic. Empathy in every way that we can show that. And then edification. Edification is that third E. We always want to be edifying our team members. Hey, this is Susie. She's our hygienist. People tell us all the time that she's so super gentle and super fast and she's awesome or whatever. Hey, I know that Mrs. Jones, that you are scared of dentists from the story that you just told me, but Dr. Costas is awesome. He's super gentle, and we have people that fly in from California just to see him. You're going to love him. That's edification. So energy, empathy, edification, you nail those 3 E's, and you're not going to have any problem on the phone or building rapport in real life.
And I will say, for those of you who don't know Mark, or you should check out his podcast, Mark, and this is a compliment. We really don't buddy up and try and butter each other up all the time. But I do want to share, like, Mark is one of the most social, likable people. Whenever people meet Mark, they're an instant friend. And so the fact that that's who Mark's personality is, and he shared his 3 E's, this is what he does and practices in real life. And I get to watch it as an observer. So I know that these things work, and I've tried them in my own life as well. So with that said, going back to Mrs. Jones, who's canceling on us, that Mrs. Jones, obviously we want to make sure we've got those 3 E's, the energy, empathy, and edification. And in doing so with that mindset, these are the magic words, because I want to give on this podcast a lot of tangibles, a lot of things you can go and implement, try out today. Try these things because they really will work. So when Mrs. Jones calls to cancel, normally offices, the first thing they do is, okay, Mrs. Jones, well, let's just get you rescheduled. High five, you just lost. You lost. You didn't even seize an opportunity that was right in front of you to edify, to empathize, and to have that energy piece to keep her on the schedule.
And you just made it too dang easy too.
We'll talk about my thoughts on breaking up easy. Mm-hmm. So with that, though, when Mrs. Jones calls to say that, instead of saying, okay, let's just get you rescheduled, that's great, you're being kind, but instead, why don't we find out what her true reason for canceling is? Instead, let's say, oh, Mrs. Jones, I'm so sorry to hear that. What's going on? That I'm so sorry to hear that. What's going on? Ties into the edification. We've got the energy of being their friend. We really, truly are. I don't want Mrs. Jones to cancel personally, but also if I can find a solution, it's probably going to make her life easier and my life easier. And it's a win-win for both of us. Time in her schedule. A lot of times we don't want to ask that question. But if you think of your patients as your friends, I would say that if Mark said he had to cancel, I'd be like, gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. What's going on, Mark? Like, are you doing okay? Finding out, because a lot of times we can find a solution to their true problem instead of assuming a problem. Mrs. Jones tells me, oh, tomorrow I've got to take my kids to school. Oh, no problem, Mrs. Jones. What time will you be done dropping your kids off? Oh, I'll be done at 7:45. Not a problem at all. I'll let Amy know you'll be about 5 minutes late. I think we could still see you for that 8 o'clock appointment. With that verbiage, you then find out why they're actually canceling. And then you can find a solution. Oh, Mrs. Jones, I'm so sorry to hear that. You know what? You've got to get your kids. We do have a 48-hour policy for any appointment changes. We don't say cancellation. We don't even want to prompt them that they're canceling. Mm-hmm. Any appointment changes. I actually had a 3 o'clock later on in that day. Would that work for you? So I could still keep you on the same day and we could accommodate you dropping your kids off to school. Whatever it is, we now are creating solutions. That patient feels like we're working out, trying to make something better for them by having that empathy piece and asking the question to make sure that when they're canceling, we're finding out why, to see if we could create a solution and keep them on our schedule instead of having to reschedule.
I love it. I love it. So you dangled that little bait out there that I have to chomp on now. It's like you're talking about making it easy or not making it easy to break up with you. So go down that road. Kiera Dent is not easy to break up with. Okay, let's just say that.
Not easy to break up with. Yes, because when they call, I always say, if I just tell them, okay, sure, Mark. Yep, absolutely. Let me get you rescheduled. I'm making it so easy for you to break up with me, and I am not the girl you break up with. Like, I don't cancel on my eyelash girl. I don't cancel on my hair girl, because those appointments are hard for me to get into. So I don't, like my dermatologist, you guys, I'm a very fair-skinned white person in this world. I have to go to the dermatologist a lot. I did not get blessed with beautiful dark skin like Mark did. I instead have this beautiful white skin that collects skin cancer regularly. Yeah. So I don't miss my dermatology appointments because it's very hard for me to get into that. If I miss my appointment, I'm out 4 months and I need to get in. So what kind of a person are you? Are your patients breaking up with you easily? Are you just like, oh yeah, cancel on me, I'll get you right back in the books? Or are you saying like, whoa, I want you to think twice about canceling on your dental appointment, and you don't have to be a jerk about it. You just make sure you're standing up and people are like, well, Kiera, how do you walk this line? That's the line of being a word ninja. I can make you feel like $1 million and you still don't break up with me, and you leave with your same exact appointment. And yet we were able to work it out, because ultimately people are usually just trying to cancel on whatever the easiest thing is to cancel. Yeah. They overschedule themselves. But you know what? Is it easier to go and pick up the kids from school, or have like mom or dad or somebody go and pick them up? Does that make it easier versus canceling and having to wait 4 or 6 weeks to get into the dentist? We just want to train our patients to treat us the way that we want to be treated. And so that's where I say Kiera Dent is hard to break up with, but you feel like $1 million when you try, because you stay on the schedule and you don't leave. So
it's a pretty simple line, right? So what's going on? And then pause and silence. Let them answer the question and reflect, and I guess kind of react to their answer accordingly. Yeah. But
exactly.
So, okay, it comes to the point where you've asked what's going on. You shut up. You made it difficult to break up with you, but there's still just no way they're going to cancel. What is your recommendation for how soon you put them back on the schedule? You make it really, really difficult. Is it like next year, or when are they allowed back in the on the books now that they've left a gaping hole of an hour and a half on your schedule?
Well, it varies. It definitely varies. And these are where cancellation policies, some people have in place, a cancellation policy, some don't. Whatever your practice is, I'm go either direction and I'm fine with whatever. Mm-hmm. But with that said, typically I say, oh my gosh, Mrs. Jones, I'm so sorry. What's going on? We try to accommodate, let her know the 48-hour appointment change policy. If she still can't make it, I say, oh, Mrs. Jones, I'm so sorry to hear that. My next availability for you, the patient who's willing to cancel on me last minute, my next availability for you. It does not mean my next available appointment in my books. It's my next available for the patient who's canceling on me at 5:00 and you're supposed to be here at 8:00 without a legitimate excuse. This is meaning if they're not sick, they're not having some crisis in their life, those we accommodate, we love them, we do everything we can. Mm-hmm. These are those patients that are just the habitual, I overscheduled myself, I'm coming in. Those patients I say, oh gosh, Mrs. Jones, my next availability for you looks like in 4 weeks. I've got my next available for you 4 weeks, Wednesday at 4:00 or Wednesday at 3:00. I don't give prime times away for those. And then I pause. I let Mrs. Jones think, do I really want to wait 4 weeks for this appointment? Or would I rather just move my other schedule to keep it in at 8:00? I stay silent at that moment. If she says, okay, fantastic, Mrs. Jones, I'll slip you right in there. No problem. I'll put you on my ASAP list. I'll give you a call if anything opens up. But she sits waiting for 2 weeks. If she says, 4 weeks, and at 3:00, do you have anything sooner? Do you have anything better? Gosh, Mrs. Jones, I'm so sorry. My next 8:00 isn't for 6 weeks. Okay, you know what? Let me move it around. I think I can have so-and-so drop the kids off. I'll be in tomorrow morning at 8:00. Awesome, Mrs. Jones. I can't wait to see you. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Thanks so much for that. I'll be sure to make sure Amy is ready to go at 8:00 so we can get you in and out right on time. That's what I mean by the pause, pushing them out 4 to 6 weeks, but then making them feel like $1 million. So Mark, tell me from your perspective how that feels for you, dentist perspective, person perspective, whatever you feel from that.
Yeah, excuse me, you and I talk about cringeworthy conversations that we overhear inadvertently when people are talking at the front desk. And one of those cringeworthy conversations is when the receptionist or the front desk assistant allows people to break up with them too easily, allows them to cancel an appointment without so much as a question as to why, and making it really, really convenient for them to get on the schedule, in 3 days.
Yep.
So yeah, I think those are all great reflections. I think just asking that simple question, so what's up, or what's going on? Is there anything I can do to help? I think that's great. Bringing energy and empathy to their particular scenario. And also the fact that, the reason why people find eyelash appointments and hair appointments so important and unbreakable is because it's really difficult to get in. So the harder we make it to get back in after cancellation, the less likelihood that they're going to cancel on us.
For sure. And this is just a super broad conversation. There are so many other things that we could get into, but really I wanted to give you guys just some things to try. Try when they call to cancel on you. I'm so sorry. What's going on? And pause. Oh man, my next availability for you would be in 4 weeks. Pause. Being really empathetic, really showing that energy, because at the end of the day, I do want to make their life easy, but I also don't want them breaking up on me tomorrow, because if I let them right back in my schedule tomorrow, odds are I became the easiest one to break up with. They might as well just break up with me tomorrow. And that's not for all people. but we're just training our people, training our patients. And I always tell people, like, because they say, well, Kiera, asking that, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, what's going on? That feels like pretty invasive. And I'm like, well, it's all based on perspective, but I will tell you, I absolutely would much rather ask that question as opposed to making the next 35 recare calls, trying to get somebody onto the books. Like, are you willing to ask that one question, getting comfortable with asking that question, recognizing you're literally just asking them as a friend, what's going on? Can I create a solution for you? Or would you rather make those 35 recare calls to try and fill your spot?
That's a very, very good point. So I got to drive the point home. If you like to end these episodes on action items, I'm going to start that ball rolling.
Let's do it.
I really believe in role playing, guys. We encourage you guys to have a set weekly meeting. We call them growth meetings, where you go over, lead measures, lag measures. You're kind of looking for ways to calibrate your language and calibrate your systemization in your dental practices. This is what we talk about on the Dentalpreneur all the time. But role playing this is huge. Like, being able to hear it is one thing, and even agreeing with what Kiera's saying is one thing. But until you can role play it and master it, and work through it, and really, really practice overcoming objections, you'll never master it. So role play.
Completely.
Figure out a way to work this into your next team meeting and role play that for all of you office managers. See if you can get that integrated into your next meeting.
Amen, Mark, because I tell everybody, a lot of times we think, and you'll sit here and you'll nod along with us and be like, yeah, that's so good. That's so good. I do that all the time. And then when we actually record your calls and you listen back to your calls, maybe you're doing it, maybe not. But role playing it out, and as crummy as it feels, people always say, but this isn't real life. It doesn't feel real. If you can overcome it when it's not real life, how much greater will you be when it is real life? So try it out, role play it out. Give us, but try this. Ask the question when somebody calls to cancel on you the next time. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. What's going on? And there, you guys, is how you are able to keep your schedule with that magic sauce verbiage, helping you have an easier life, making your life more efficient, and having your patients feel like they're your best friends. All right, guys, that's the Dental A Team podcast. Mark, thanks so much for joining us.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental A Team podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.